expenditure and taxation.
If the government make some serious cuts to all of these things that you said that you won't cut, if you're in power in the next 6 months or a year or so on, will you reverse those cuts?
No.
You won't?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't think that you can. I think once a decision is made, I think it's important.
And are you not hiding behind the government's...
No, I'm not. I'm not. Because, what I am doing... I think we have to be... No, I think we have to be absolutely straight with people here.
Well, it's an extraordinary situation. We have a government which doesn't have any confidence by the majority of the Dáil in it. We have a Prime Minister, a Taoiseach, whose party doesn't have confidence in him. We have a government so discredited that Fine Gael and Labour couldn't abide them to be in office for 2 weeks longer and therefore wanted the election brought forward. Yet, they are allowing this government the authority to bring in the most draconian cuts and attacks on the living standards and public services of our people in the history of this state, in order to enact the IMF-EU deal, which was designed to bleed the lifeblood of our people in order to rescue major European banks. It is absolutely extraordinary, and I have to say, looking at the demeanour of Deputy Burton and Deputy Noonan, the finance spokespeople of their parties, over the last 48 hours, all I could think of was anxious relatives hovering over the deathbed of a sick and ancient relative, wishing him to shuffle off, but desperate that he would make his will before he goes, and keeping him on life support until he does, because they believe that that will confers on them a political advantage, and they intend to go out, if they are in government, which the polls are indicating at the present time, with that will, i.e. the finance bill, wave it in people's faces and said, we are stuck with this, we have no choice. It is absolutely dishonest and it is quite incredible, but I do think that people will see through it. Quite clearly, Fine Gael and the Labour Party are intent on carrying out basically the same policy as Fianna Fáil and the Greens, the policy of austerity, which means, in other words, savage cuts on living standards, savage cuts in our public services, which will make the economic crisis worse.
Eamon Gilmore said in the Late Late Show appearance with Ryan Tubridy a few months ago that there would be no changes made to any budgetary measures enacted by Fianna Fáil. There'd be no changes made, as far as they were concerned, to those budgetary enactments in the first year after Labour came into office.
Well, I think you're misquoting, with due respect to you, what Eamon Gilmore said.
What do you recall him said?
Well, sorry,
what do you recall him saying?
If you're asking the question, Vincent, do you want an answer now, or do you just want to harangue me?
Maybe if you tell us what you recall him saying.
Well, if I get an opportunity to answer, I want to take it. Thank you very much.
What
Eamon Gilmore said, and what the position of the Labour Party is very clearly, is that in relation to the current finance bill that's before the Dáil, we want to see bonuses paid to bankers taxed. There's nothing in the bill in relation to that. We want to see people who have entered into a civil partnership. They were to have special arrangements made to provide for the same taxation benefits.
You promised you'd say, in order to stop me harassing or heckling or whatever you said, haranguing you, you said that you'd answer my question was, well, what is your memory of what he said on the Late Late Show?
What he said was that it was not going to be possible to reverse everything. No. When the Labour Party, if and when... Yes, it is actually.
You know perfectly
what the Labour Party
has said there would be no changes to the budgetary measures introduced by Fianna Fáil and the Greens.
Do you want to play back the interview?
If the government make some serious cuts to all of these things that you said that you won't cut, if you're in power in the next 6 months or a year or so on, will you reverse those cuts?
No.
You won't?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't think that you can. I think once a decision is made, I think it's important.
And are you not hiding behind the government's...
No, I'm not. I'm not. Because, what I am doing... I think we have to be... No, I think we have to be absolutely...
What he said is it is not possible to reverse all changes.
He didn't say
can I just say to you...
It's just extraordinary. People come on and say...
Well, it's very extraordinary.
You know it isn't true, but go on. Yeah.
Well, are you just going to talk for the whole of the programme, or am I an invited guest who can actually answer some questions?
Well, maybe you would answer the question and also tell it factually.
Yeah.
Answer them factually.
The people that I represent want actually jobs and employment created in this country, and they want the economic fortunes of this country restored and returned.